Man, you know when you hear that sound, it is going down. It's pre-workout time. Bro, how many times have you been in the gym and you've seen people in the middle of their training session and they're stopping and doing this? Let me tell you, bro, drinking your pre-workout drink in the middle of your workout is not optimal. Now, I see guys more jacked, way more jacked than me, doing exactly what I told you not to do. So you would say, man, what in the world? Well, I think it's more of they've been doing something a certain way for so long and they know something works for them. Maybe they're in a time crunch and don't have enough time to drink a pre-workout and wait until it actually kicks in. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I'm sure there's a good reason for it. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about optimal and what's optimal with your pre-workout drink, especially if it's carbonated. Like these Ghost energy drinks, they're by far, my favorite drink, but they're carbonated. And that carbonation is actually, I'm not gonna say it's hard or difficult to digest, but it is a little bit more, it does take a little bit more effort for your body to digest it than it does for like a regular pre-workout with no carbonation. I'm saying carbonation, not caffeine. You need the caffeine. If you're like me, I need at least 100 milligrams of caffeine. The Ghost energy drinks have 200. That's what I need to get me through the workout. Now, some people, I don't know how they get through a workout without any assistance from caffeine, but they do it. So if you're gonna drink something like a Ghost energy, give yourself at least like 20 to 30 minutes before you actually start training to let that thing, I call it loading. Loading is after you've eaten something and it's been digested. That means it's loaded and ready to go. But also too, another thing to talk about is your pre-workout meal. What are you actually eating before you go to the gym? Because that's gonna dictate how your pump is gonna be. If you got a sucky pump, you probably don't have a lot of carbs in your system, you're probably dehydrated, or you don't have enough salts, electrolytes. It's probably a combination of one of those three. Or maybe you just suck and don't know how to exercise. I suppose that could be a fourth option. But if you have just a rudimentary understanding of how to work out and lift weights, then eating in a way that optimizes your training session probably needs to be prioritized to the highest degree. Because I know a lot of people, maybe you're intermittent fasters, they actually can train on an empty stomach. And I do know people that don't even do intermittent fasting that swear that they're just more efficient on an empty stomach. Now, I do not advocate trying to work out after you've just eaten a meal. I mean, if you're eating, your ham and cheese sandwich, swallowing it, and then 5 minutes later you're on the bench press, you're gonna have digestion problems. And the problem is when you eat food and it's in your stomach waiting to be digested, you actually need blood in your stomach to help with the digestion process. If you're trying to work out and get a pump, then your body wants to send the blood into the areas that you're working out, and it's getting mixed signals. It's hard to take blood away from the digestion in your stomach and send it to your muscles when it really needs to be in your stomach doing what it does, and that's digesting your food. So a quick way, maybe a little bit of a hack to get around this, if you have to eat and then sort of train close to the same time, is to get up on the treadmill and to walk for like 20 minutes, 15 or 20 minutes of like a 2.5 mile an hour walk will be just enough to really facilitate the digestion of your pre-workout meal. And a lot of times for me, I eat my pre-workout meal, and as it's digesting, that's kind of when I start using my Ghost energy. But let's talk about what should you actually eat for a pre-workout meal. Well, we got 3 different types of macronutrients. You got your proteins, your carbs, and your fat. The most important of those for your pre-workout is gonna be your carbohydrate. That is your source of energy, and that's what you need to get through the training session. Now, I would prioritize protein number 2, because once you digest your protein and it's in the bloodstream, it's going to be amino acids, and you actually do want amino acids in your bloodstream while you're training, because it will only help to repair the muscle tissue that you're breaking down. The least important of the 3 would be your fat, and you kind of want to keep it low, at least lower, for your pre-workout meal, because it takes the body a lot more energy to digest fat. Fat is over 2 times as molecularly dense as your protein or your carbs. So you need to recognize that and understand that fat is gonna slow down the digestion of the protein of the carbs. So let's give you an example. If you were gonna go to Olive Garden and eat like the endless breadsticks and then eat your pasta or whatever, that is not an ideal pre-workout meal, only because it's so heavy. The combination of carbs and fat is so heavy that it's gonna take a lot of energy for your body to digest that. So if you were, let's say you were at a family celebration or some kind of birthday party or something, and you find yourself at Olive Garden and you train at night. So you're gonna eat this heavy meal, let's say like 6:30 or 7, and you still gotta get a training session in. You can eat the heavy meal, but what's gonna have to change, you're gonna need to extend the time between when you finish the meal and when you actually work out. So you're gonna need probably 2 or 3 hours for that meal to be fully digested and ready, your body ready to actually train. So if you were gonna do that, ideally, you probably wouldn't want to eat the breadsticks, or there would be something of the more fattier or heavier foods. You would want to maybe cut that out or reduce slightly, so that it would be, the digestion process would be more efficient, so you actually could go to the gym a little later on and train. But man, there's cops everywhere. The ideal pre-workout meal for me, and I'm always a big believer in red meat, so I would take like a leaner cut or a leaner ground beef, something like maybe a 93% protein, 7% fat. Season it up the way I want to. I might even cook it in a little bit of butter, and then I'm gonna eat either maybe a cup or a cup and a half of some white rice, or even like a Spanish rice, one of those little microwavable cups. Of course there's gonna be a little bit of fat with the ground beef, but not a lot. And I'd probably go anywhere between 4 to 8 ounces should be enough. That's gonna give you approximately 25 grams to 50 grams of protein. And that's about the same you want with your carbs. You need at least 50 grams of carbs, maybe on up to 100, for a good solid pre-workout meal. Oh, that's so good. And you're gonna wanna wait, ideally it would be about an hour after you're eating this. So you're in the gym training about an hour after your last bite. But again, this is optimal. This is ideal. Don't let, like, if you can't do this, like this, get this down perfect, don't let that stop you from still going to the gym. I know a lot of people, if they can't have it exactly perfect, exactly ideal to how they want it, they don't do anything at all. And I think about these guys in prison that can only do like calisthenic workouts or body weight exercises. They're using bed sheets and hanging like gallon water jugs off and doing curls. I mean, use that as motivation. I mean, man, these guys, most of them don't have any clue about training or nutrition. I mean, they've only got access to the food that's being given to them inside, and they probably aren't much in the way of doing a lot of research, so they're probably just doing what they know to do because they're looking around and seeing what other people are doing. But the fact is that people like that, if they just go hard, they're gonna get results. It's like your CrossFit guys, or any other type of workout that's not necessarily a traditional type of gym workout. These guys are super jacked, and it's because they go hard. And each training session, they're trying to get a little bit better. We call that progressive overload. But progressive overload, it doesn't stop just in the gym. You progressive overload your life. You try to get better at doing things that you're not good at. And the more times you practice, the more reps you put in, the better you're gonna get. It's the same with like even learning about bodybuilding nutrition. The more you learn, the higher accountability you give yourself, and the better results you're gonna get. I mean, you don't stop going to the gym because something's not ideal. You don't stop learning about stuff because something's not perfect. You're always using it as motivation to move forward. And pre-workout meals, I just don't want anybody to overcomplicate things. I mean, worst case scenario, if you hadn't had anything in your stomach, it's been a bad day and you need to hit your training session, I mean, eating a granola bar, anything, stop at McDonald's and get a one of their little double cheeseburgers. I mean, I think they've got like 300 calories, maybe 20 grams of protein. I think that the weight of the meat is something like either 3.5 or 4 ounces. But I mean, something as simple as a little double cheeseburger from McDonald's can save your day. But you've got to think about too, like about calories and macronutrients. Just because you're not eating a can of tuna and rice cakes with a little bit of almond drizzle, that's kind of what we're taught is ideal for pre-workouts, and it's not. What's ideal is understanding nutrition, holding yourself accountable, and eating foods that agree with you. If you're eating a bunch of food that your body doesn't like because some influencer told you you should eat this, then you're missing the point. Because digestibility of calories is huge. If you're eating food and then just shitting it out, your body's not utilizing it, obviously, because you can look at it in the toilet and be like, oh my gosh. So if somebody tells you you really need to eat pasta in order to get big, but you eat pasta and your stomach hurts for 2.5 hours, don't eat pasta. There's plenty of other carbs you can eat. Same thing with protein. I mean, I just watched a video where a guy hates eating canned tuna, but he's sitting there just eating canned tuna. And it's like, bro, you don't have to do this. There's plenty of other options available to you in case you don't like a particular one. Another recommendation, not just for pre-workout food, but for just eating in general, is learning how to cook and make your food taste good. Because if you don't eat your food, or if you eat half of it and you're like, oh my gosh, this just sucks, you're gonna end up going to Wendy's or McDonald's to make up those calories. You're gonna end up overeating. Your calories are gonna be too high. Your macronutrients are gonna be all screwed up. And it can be avoided simply if you learn how to cook your food and make it taste good. I love using butter, man. I mean, I use it sparingly and I know how much butter I put into stuff, but a half a tablespoon of butter when you're cooking a pound of ground beef, the flavor that butter gives and offers is totally worth the extra calories. So what if you use a whole tablespoon of butter cooking some ground beef? That's only an extra 100 calories that you can take into account, but it's gonna be a lot better when you're actually trying to eat your food and you can eat it without gagging, without fantasizing that you're at Taco Bell. You're actually craving your own food. It's actually one of life's biggest hacks, is being able to fix and prepare your own food and have your mouth water for your very own cooking. I mean, I'm single and I've been cooking for over 20 years. I started learning how to cook when I was, I think, 21 or 22. It was the summer, the very first summer, where we had $5 footlongs from Subway. And I remember that whole summer, every day, at least once a day, I got a footlong oven roasted chicken breast sub. And there was one point probably September of whatever year that was, where I took one bite of it and I was just done. It was enough. I couldn't take it anymore. Like, as much as I loved it and had craved it for the months and months and months that I had eaten it, I finally reached a point where I was like, bro, I just cannot handle this anymore. And so this was back, I mean, we had YouTube, but it certainly wasn't what it is now. So I think I was still watching like the Food Network. And I remember there was a lady, I can't remember her name, but her show was Barefoot Contessa. And all of the food that she made, I mean, she wasn't making like health or fitness food. It was just like regular kind of food, I guess. But all of it just looked really good to me. And I just remember thinking, wow, you know, I really think if I could learn to cook like that, not even as good as that, but just a little bit, then it would make my life a lot easier. And it did. It'll end up saving you a ton of money when you learn how to cook. And also, it's such a cool thing to be able to actually produce the thing that you're going to consume, because so many of us, we're used to, you know, getting pre-cooked meals, Uber Eats, drive-thrus, whatever. But when we actually take the time to fix our own food, the level of gratitude that we can cultivate is off the charts. I mean, fixing our own food and then eating our own food, it's really just a testament of thankfulness in a lot of ways. And you're so much less likely to eat crap when you fix your own food, as opposed to just walking into a supermarket somewhere and then all of a sudden, you know, you've got all of these ready to eat options that are just right there at your disposal. Okay, had to back into my spot. But cooking gotta be number one priority. Maybe not number one priority, but it's definitely, it needs to be a priority for you, because when you fix your own food, you have so much more control over your macronutrients, over your carbs, over everything. And you can teach yourself how to be more efficient in your own diet when you're making your own food. I don't know how I got, I don't know how I got talking about cooking, but the whole point of this video was a pre-workout routine involving what you should drink and how you should eat. At least my approach to pre-workout nutrition training and philosophy. I just pulled up to the gym. I'm gonna sit here, finish my drink, get my game plan ready for the workout, and I encourage you to do the exact same thing.